Okay, so yeah, so we got off a BOGO week. That was crazy. That was really good. I find that BOGO week has been a great opportunity to get new people into your organization. So I hope that for you guys that was made possible. If not, next BOGO, if this is like one of your first ones to do it, I mean, definitely when I did my first BOGO, I wasn't like getting lots of people actually into oils. I think I was just getting solo oils to them and then never talking with them again. So I've learned for sure the longer I've gone on how to do BOGOs and how to retain a little bit better. But yeah, I feel like it does do a surge. It's able to get oils in people's hands. And so I just challenge you, if any of you guys did get new people that either you just gave the BOGO to, and especially if you sign them up, that you really focus on these next couple weeks of educating them and connecting them. Because if you want your investment of your time that you put into BOGO week to actually give like fruition to your business and growth over time, definitely getting people when they're first into oils connected and plugged in is literally the best time you could ever spend, right? It's your prime. And again, I know like what we talked about before is like, don't forget about people right in front of you, right? It's almost like if you sign someone up, that's better to invest time in them than to find someone else new to sign up oils with, right? Even though that makes us maybe feel better, right? It's to equip the people that we just signed up with how to learn and use the oils before we move on to the next step, which sometimes is really hard. But I really challenge you. I think this next week, I'm really gonna, and then weeks to come, I'm gonna try to put a lot into the user group and do a lot more live videos. And I challenge you guys. I know I have to give a shout out to Shannon for doing a live one for our group. I think she was the only one that did the challenge this week. So maybe she needs an extra 50 free points added to her shirt. So add some points in there, Shannon.
Thank you.
Awesome job. I really appreciate that. And I do challenge you guys, if you guys didn't have time this last week because it was crazy, you know, really it's super key that we all are plugging into the group and giving back, right? So I think that's awesome. I really appreciate you doing that. And whatever is on your heart, and again, like I said, it doesn't have to be big and daunting and long, right? You could pop on for 2 minutes and give one recipe that you love. And I feel like sometimes, especially when it comes to Facebook or social media, a lot of you guys are thinking, unless it's perfect, I can't get on. And if you think that, you're never going to do it, right? Like, let's just be real. If I thought that, like, I wouldn't be getting on as much as I did. I try to fit in Instagram and Facebook into the little pockets of my life. And so it might seem like I Instagram tons, but that's just because I've gotten used to telling myself, oh, you have a minute, Instagram something, right? Or if I have a minute, I shoot everything at once. And then I do those posts sporadically, right? Because every day isn't a day that you can take photos. So take a bunch of photos at once, style them all, right, in a little bit different looks. And then you'll have those photos for throughout the week or weeks to come where you already know what those posts are. So make yourself a list and be like, okay, I'm going to shoot these 4 things today. And maybe you even write out what you're going to post, right? So then when it comes time that you're doing once a day posting, you have it already all copied and pasted that you can just plug right in, you know? That's what I would recommend, because I do feel like we still need to work on the consistency of our Instagram posts. I know a lot of you guys are probably like, I'm doing a lot better, stop bugging me. But I know you guys can even continue to post more. And just remember, like, these are people out there that know nothing about essential oils, and they really are learning from you, right? So that's my little plug on giving back. So if you guys still could take the challenge and jump onto our Facebook group and at least share one tidbit. I mean, you could even share the BOGO you got, right, and how you're going to use it. How easy is that? No one can't do that, right? Like, oh, I got Purify. I just made, you know, like I literally got Purify, wild orange, and grapefruit, and I made the easiest DIY for my bathroom to smell better: distilled water, witch hazel, those 3 oils, right? Done. I mean, it literally took seconds and people loved it. It's so simple. So don't overthink it, right? It doesn't have to be this amazing post with so much information. Now, some of those posts are great, but you don't need those all the time. It could be the smallest DIY or tidbit of info that might, you know, connect with people. Oh, do your kids get fevers? Here's what I do. Everybody knows what they're going to do with their kids' fever right now in this group, hopefully, right? Little lavender, peppermint, frankincense, you know, whatever it is. So just get on, do a little social media post. That would be awesome. Okay, and then the other thing that I think, shout out to for doing the other challenge this week was getting, why am I blanking my words, was getting the brand rep search. So great job, Cheryl. She posted about doing that, and that's really exciting. So I hope you guys all continue. Did anyone else find someone that they could connect with and post?
I have someone, but she hasn't posted yet. So
that's fine. Yeah, but you connected with someone. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Anyone else out there have any ideas or gonna do it? Anyone want to take the challenge on brand rep search? Crickets?
I think my challenge is I feel like my own social media needs to ramp it up. So I feel like I have to fix my own housekeeping issue before I ask someone else to do it, going back to your first plug.
Yeah. So, yeah, and so maybe that's actually like a fear you have, and that's perfect into this talk, right? Like, I have to be perfect and have it all together before I'm able to be presentable and help people.
Right.
Right? But is that true? I don't think so, because I help my kids all the time and I'm like the biggest mess whatsoever at my house, right? Or my friends come over and I help them nonstop. And if I thought I had to put makeup on every time I met someone off of Instagram and help them with the oils, I would never help people with essential oils. I literally just invite them into my chaos and they connect with me, and then I just give my heart and share with them. So I really think that your Instagram is great. It has your family, it has healthy food, and it has essential oils, right?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be perfect, right? It doesn't have to be. Like, they're not going to go through your whole thing. What if they just connect with one post?
Sure.
Right? And what if you make it more about awesome support group? My friend's a nurse. She's turned to essential oils, found so much. She doesn't have to say she has the biggest Instagram following ever. Go check her out and she's an Instagram star. That's not what it's about, right?
Sure.
It's like, no, my friend Lauren is so into essential oils. And I mean, use the nurse thing. It's a great thing. I wish I could say I'm a nurse, whatever. Like, use your strengths, right?
No, it's cracked up to be. Yeah.
But I mean, like, use your strengths. No one's going to go onto your Instagram. And what if, like, just because you're telling yourself it has to be all pretty, you never do it and you miss out on an opportunity?
Sure.
You know?
That's good.
Yeah. So I would just say, who wouldn't want free essential oils? You know what I mean? From a nurse that's going to help educate you.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you can even tell her, you know, yeah, and you can let your readers know we have a private essential oil group with tons of knowledge. What if almost they even direct that to that almost and say, if you want to get more information, you can connect her at this email address, right? Or you can go check out her community page, Obsessed with Essentials. Why do you even have to tag your own private if you're feeling self-conscious?
Right.
You can have her tag that, but you could also say, go check out her essential oil community, Obsessed with Essentials, and you can email her at this.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they go to it and see, oh my gosh, this is a community, and with the tons of posts on essential oils already. And oh, I want to get into that private Facebook group that everyone's talking about. They're not going to contact me. They're going to contact you because their friend said your name with your website. I mean, with your email address.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe try that. So if you don't feel like your Instagram account or whatever is that all like pretty packaged or whatever, again, I personally think that's a lie. We can totally do that still.
Right.
If it makes you feel better, then merge both of them and she can tag you in your personal Instagram, and then also say her community group that is awesome, like, because you want to get this person to really like share tons about you, so have them added to our Facebook group.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Get them in love with it. Be like, oh my gosh, this is so much info. Then it's going to naturally flow out of them, and it's not like you have to feed them information, because they personally love the oil group, so they have no problem telling people, wow, it really helped me.
Right.
So anyone that's a brand rep search, it's like you want to give them the red carpet treatment and give them everything, right?
Right.
And that's totally fine. Tag them in the video, tag them in posts, add them to the group, send them a sample, whatever it is. You want to get these people so excited about essential oils that they sell it for you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they're already sold on it because that person's selling them that they follow. And then they're either, like I said, tag both accounts, or if you don't even want your personal account tagged, you could put your email address.
Yeah. Okay. That's good tips.
Anybody else have any hang-ups they want me to walk you through so you guys can all do your brand rep search? I'm here.
I just wanted to add that I've like shared with people the Facebook group, and I would even say, oh, there's this really great nurse in our group, so you're posting questions and like, you know, she's educated, she knows what to say. So I've used you
I love
attract people. so be confident.
Yeah, thank you.
I use Lauren all the time too, so it's perfect. It's right, you know, like. And then I have this one lady, Kara Clark, that she's a nutritionist and now she's doing oils. And so I'll be like, yeah, one of Orange County's top nutritionists. I mean, like literally, like we have a great group of people, right? Let's all use our skills and our benefit are the amazing women that are in our community, you know? And some people don't want to hear that it's a nurse and that it's just a fellow mom that likes it, right? So then use that. You'll love our group. It has all moms, or you'll love our group. It has tons of pet lovers, or, you know, you don't have to be a parent to love our group. There's tons of people in here without kids that still use essential oils for anxiety, stress, hormones, you know, energy. I mean, literally, like, there's so many people that you can connect with depending on who you're trying to share the oils with, right? Because we're all different and we all have different connecting points. I think that's great. Thanks, Rebecca. Anybody else?
I think the thing that I noticed when I posted the lady who I contacted on Instagram, in her like blurb about herself, her biography at the top, it says she was willing to collaborate and do giveaways, and that's the reason I contacted her. And then I started noticing on other people's pages, and then I just went to people that had a little bit more following than I had. Just because I thought that they would be more willing to work with me because they're on like more of like a level playing field. But those are the people that really tipped me off because they say it in the biography, like I want to collaborate. So I thought that they would be the most willing people to start with. So I didn't know if anyone else noticed that, but I think that really helped me figure out who to contact.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome advice. There's lots of people that in the bio say that, so that's great, right? I think that's an awesome tip. And then too, if you find that it's your, like, sometimes even if they don't say that, but you're like, oh, this person posts about a lot of different products they like, right? Or just like, you know, oh, I like this, or I like this. That's another kind of great person. Like, oh, do you want to try this out and see if you like it too? Like, awesome. Great. Okay, well, that was just my little plug to make sure I am checking back next week to see who's done their brand rep search, and I am going to see who else added to the Facebook group. I would absolutely love that. So to Cheryl and Shannon, who did it this week, you could both add 50 extra points for being the only people in the group who did the challenge. So kudos to you guys. Okay, so let's get started on fear. It's quite a topic. I know even just talking about it tonight and what we've already said, that we all clearly have fears about different things, right? And we're all working through different fears that we have. And then what Jenna said in her beginning is fear is real. Everybody has it, right? So let's not forget that even the people with tons of Instagram followings or that seem like they have it all together, most of the time people that look on the outside that they have it all together are actually the most insecure and fearful on the inside, right? And most of the time we just put out this amazing front that we have it all together when really we're so fearful about what people think about us. And yet if we can get over that and really learn how to not say that we're never going to be fearful again of failure, of success, people's opinions, but how can we deal with our fear, right, in a healthy way? That's really the key. Because again, no matter what you do in life, we're always at different parts of our life. We might overcome one fear, just have another one creep up, right? But what do successful people have above other people is they've learned how to deal with their fear in a healthy way to make them be able to move on and move through it and use it to propel them rather than cripple them. So she said, fear is real. You will want to quit your business a million times. So I just want to say I have only been doing doTERRA, for about a year and a half. And believe me, I have wanted to quit my business a million times, right? Like, it's true. It's hard. I mean, I've had my bakery for 10 years, and there's been so many moments that I've wanted to quit. I've been a parent for 5 years, and there's been so many moments where I just want to take a parent time out, right? Or a marriage time out. It's just life, right? Anything worth that's great and worth our time is going to involve some pain, some work, and a lot of fear, which is just the truth. So the great thing for us all to really remember is fear has nothing to do with your abilities. And how good does that make us feel, right? Because a lot of times we think that the fear has everything to do with our abilities. And really the truth, it has nothing to do with our abilities. So we need to remember that so we don't use that as something that's always on top of us. Like, I'm just not capable of it. I could never do this. I don't have those skills. I'm not good enough. I'm always a failure. Whatever it is, you know, that fear is telling you, it's like, that has nothing to do with reality of what you really could do. And so we need to sort of like speak the truth over that in our life, right? She said people who don't have fear don't have anything important that they're doing. What do you guys think about that? People who don't have fear don't have anything important that they're doing.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I think, you know, you can share more. I feel like you see those people that just by the end of their life have not tried anything really that was important to them. And it's sad, right? And they have no passion or extreme joy. It's just sort of boring, mundane, and they're sort of jaded. Any more thoughts? If you want to talk about it more, Courtney, and your thoughts on it?
Well, I think when you're too safe, then you get stuck in a box and you don't even realize how boxed in you are because you don't ever take any chances. So, you know, I just know a lot of the decisions that I stressed and fretted and worried about the most were the ones that were the best payoff for us, you know, for sure, 100%. And I think I've gotten to the point with most things now that I just, I think the more risk you take and the more you confront your own fear, the more you just are able to ignore it and move on. You know, it's just not so big and scary and hairy anymore. You just get used to going, well, that could happen or it could be fantastic. So let's focus on the fantastic. And if we fail and it's an utter failure, then you pick yourself up and you do something else.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? So another thing that I think, especially with multi-level marketing and direct sales, is other people will be scared of what you're doing, right? People are afraid of what they don't understand. I don't know about you guys, but when I started doing this, literally everyone I knew was like, what in the heck are you doing? Why are you teaching oil classes? You're still teaching them? Why would you do this? Like, and questioning everything. And to be honest, the only reason probably it didn't faze me this time around is because so my story in a nutshell was I went to school to be an elementary school teacher. That's what I thought I wanted to do, right? I was like 4.0, never missed a class. I had taken all the teacher's tests already. I'd already taught in 3 schools as an assistant teacher. Then I got married at 21, and I was in a school where the teachers were hating it. I was like a newlywed, depressed in my job. I felt like I couldn't do anything because I just was like so boxed in, right? And I had all these ideas, all this whatever potential I thought, and I was just like, I got to get out of this. So I started nannying instead. Then I got into baking more and throwing parties. Long story short, it clicked. My passion went, right? And so my personality was, for me, the person that got 4.0 all throughout high school, overachiever to the max, of course I would finish college, right? I had done more college credits than my husband ever did, and he graduated. I was like 3.5 years into it, right? And then I found that I was obsessed with pastry school, like baking, and I decided to go to pastry school. And so I started to do both at the same time. I was doing pastry school and finishing my my teaching career. But for my teaching credentials, I was in a program where you had to do all of the credentials with your schooling to be able to graduate. So here I was, like a half a year away from graduating, but really I had way more because I had to do the teaching credentials. And I was literally in pastry school, loving every second, every minute, looking over these books, so passionate. And I was sitting in linguistics class, and I literally was like, I'm hating this. Why am I wasting my time and my parents' money doing this? If I want to do it later on in life, I know I'll have the drive and passion to go back and actually do it, and it won't be a waste in my mind. But what is that fear in my mind that's saying, you won't have a diploma, you won't have a degree, what will people think of you? Like, literally, that was a legitimate thing. I did 3.5 years. I was like, that was my whole thing. And so literally my in-laws, my aunt, I remember even like my tax guy literally looked at me that I'd known forever. What are you doing? You're not going to finish college? That's so irresponsible. You know what I mean? And I had all of these people putting on me their expectations, their fears, their whatever. And thankfully, my parents didn't. They were super supportive, or else I probably would have caved and stuck with school still. But I was like, no, I'm into this. I'm passionate. Why would I waste the time that I have now to do this other thing that I'm not even into right now, right? And so I went for it, and I literally quit school, and I still don't have my degree, and my husband does, which is like the funniest joke. And, you know, and I never turned back. And so this another time when I decided to do a second business with 2 kids and a bakery and things like that. And everyone's like, what? You're complaining that you're already overwhelmed with life and you have too much on your plate. But I saw the opportunity and I was like, no, if I don't do this, I will have major regret. And we'll talk about that later on, because I love Tony Robbins' quote about that of looking at when you're in the rocking chair later on. And I personally feel like that would be me. If I had not done this and I saw other people doing doTERRA and popping up and making income that I wanted to, and all of having this flexibility, I did have a little bit of that regret when I was like, so how much are you making, Carly? And you're homeschooling your kids of 5 and like trying to put it together. And that's literally what made me think, I don't care what everybody else thinks. I know the opportunity and I'm going to go for it, right? And I literally had everybody thinking weird thoughts of me. Thankfully, my husband was pretty supportive. But seriously, like, fear is real and people are so scared of multi-level marketing and direct sales. So has anybody else had this sort of struggle and want to share about it?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I had been using essential oils for 3 years before I started sharing really with anyone. And I share a lot online and I was terrified. And the first time I shared, I got comments from people like, oh, this is cool, but how do you feel being part of a pyramid scheme?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, so, but when I was in the business group, I think it's a question, something to do with something I can't remember now, in the business group, and it was really helpful because I had to really step back from that fear and embarrassment and be like, okay, well, it's not a pyramid scheme, so let me explain it to these people, because I, used to think it was too before I knew any better. But now that I've researched the company and I know their ethics and their morals and how everything's done correctly, I'm not scared about it anymore. And I feel confident in sharing now because I've done. So, yeah.
I love that. And I remember too, when you first posted about, what was it, like sourcing and things like that and the rare things. And then someone threw back a comment at you like, so isn't that irresponsible to buy an expensive, or whatever. And you posted to the group and it was great because you brought this, not a fear, but sort of like, oh, what do I do with this? And how do I write back this comment to our group, right? And then you were supported with our community and saying, okay, here's legitimate knowledge and reasoning why, and this is how I would respond. And you're really like, oh yeah, that is. And I do. And I had that same thing. I mean, I had to walk through like the, doTERRA, Young Living. I mean, that happened so many times, or like all of those different, the pyramid scheme, all of these kind of things. And then what's my response? And I'm telling you, the more confident you can feel in your own response, it comes across to people 100%. If you're trying to get business builders and you are not secure, and this is a business and why you love the company, the oils, the compensation plan, the community, no one's going to want to jump aboard your party train, right? No one. And so until I was like, even when sharing yesterday, one of my friends, she was saying like, yeah, to be honest, she gets oils from me, but she was talking about hosting a party for me. And she's like, yeah, like I think probably one of the main hangups people have is like the cost difference. You know what I mean? And so it was funny. So I just started sharing with her and I'm like, yeah, well, I was talking about sourcing. And then I said like wild salmon versus farmed. And she literally was like, wow, you're really good at explaining that. That totally makes sense. And I totally understand that now. And that, and literally this whole thing that she'd been holding up in her head on why people thought doTERRA wasn't whatever, I dispelled in 1 second by just easily giving her knowledge, right, of why there's a difference and connecting the dots. And by me not being fearful of like, that I wouldn't be able to explain it or whatever, it came across and she's like, wow, that was really good. You must have explained that to a lot of people before. And I'm like, yeah, I have, but and so the more and more we get comfortable with talking about the business, the oils, the everything, it just makes it all so much more enjoyable, I'm telling you guys, and you will not have the fears. I literally don't get thrown off by any comments people do in class now, and I used to a lot, right? Or in one-on-ones or about the business. I'd be like, oh, I better check on that. Oh, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, this is stressful, and I have anxiety now, and whatever. And now I'm just like, I feel confident in it. I know. And so even if you guys don't feel confident in all that, to feel like, okay, hopefully you feel that you can have a little security in knowing that I personally or other people in your upline have, and that we are so confident in it, and to know that even if I don't know the answer, someone else can help me with it. And that will come across to people. So thanks, Allie, for sharing. That was great. Anybody else have any pushback with family or friends or things like that?
I think there is just this sort of stigma. I mean, blanket statement. I mean, a lot of people think it's great, but even people who haven't said things to my face, like I was talking to my sister about it. She's like, yeah, is it real? Cause my brother, Kevin, she's like, he just thinks it's super weird, or, like, and he's like talking, I find out he's saying stuff. He's never said anything to me, but then you kind of maybe hear
totally
people who haven't heard, like, so then you kind of think, oh, well, who else is saying whatever? Not that that was like a huge hang up, but it sort of just got me thinking, like, even people who aren't saying stuff to your face are probably maybe even just keeping some things to themselves, but silently judging you. You'd almost rather them just come out and say it.
Totally.
Like,
yeah,
what they're thinking and that kind of thing.
Totally. And, I find when I just open the conversation up with someone and then can explain it to them, but seriously, it's like, okay, why did doTERRA, and when I've heard it from the owners before explain why they chose direct sales, it makes so much sense. It's like, why did they choose multi-level marketing direct sales? Because how can you take an essential oil product and sell it in a grocery store and have education, support, and all of that? How can you have a billboard and that come across to people really what essential oils are all about? There isn't that, so why would they want to spend all this money on advertising? I mean, they are a $1 billion company, and yet what do they spend on advertising? Nothing. They pour that back into us. They don't do any advertising, right? Why is that shady? How about Coca-Cola or all these other companies that have all these shady relationships with all these other organizations, and things like that in our government? It's like, that's maybe what I'd be more worried about, not an essential oil company trying to equip people to learn about essential oils and help share them. And yes, I get paid good. Great. You know what I mean? Like, what is shady about that? And then ask them, and just to have that conversation. Then by the end, normally I'm like, yeah, that does make sense. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to educate, teach, share, problem solve, all of this for people if I don't get an income. What do you do for a living? Isn't that what you do in whatever your genre is of your work? That's normally what we all do, right? And we all get paid for it.
Totally. Yeah, no, it's just sometimes, like I said, it's even just when you hear it like after the fact, you're like, oh, they never even said anything in my face, but then they're talking other people. And so that's always interesting. But I think my personal thing is just that I feel there's so many multi-level marketing companies out there, and there's so many people, I don't want to say doing it wrong, but doing it in a way that I would want to be associated with. And I know we've already spent a lot of time talking about, like how we're not that spammer, not that, this, that, and the other. But I guess that stigma, and then just being in that same.
Totally. And sometimes the nice thing about that is I feel like when they compare, like, for instance, when someone compares me to like Rodan and Fields person, I'm actually a breath of fresh air, and they're so excited to connect with me about it because I'm the exact opposite of the other, right? And so sometimes you can use that in a sense to your advantage and be like, oh yes, I'm literally doing the exact opposite. So that will be a good, right? Where it's like, no one's going to get a bad taste in your mouth if all you do is educate, share, and love on them, and never ask them to buy until they're ready, right? Or when that moment is. Like, that will never get that. And so you can rest assured that you won't be that person, right? And that, you won't be grouped into that. If anything, they're going to be like, wow, I love this product. You don't come across salesy at all. Can I do the business with you? And they're like, great, I'd love to tell you how, right? Because literally, this is actually a good point. I'm gonna read this because I had someone write me. She's followed me for, I think she put 4 years now. And so again, sometimes people hold out. You'll get some of your business builders. I had this lady write, hi, this may be kind of random, but I started following you back when I lived in LA a few years back, and I interned. She interned for 2 of my friends in the wedding industry. And she said, anyways, I love how organically you introduced doTERRA to your followers. I've been purchasing doTERRA, but haven't thought about selling. Could I sign up with you? Like, seriously, right? Why? Because she's seen me over time be able to present the product in a manner that resonates with her. She already loves it, and now she's actually saying, can I do the business? Basically, I mean, that's amazing. Yes, of course, I'd love you to do the business under me. Come, like this is what you guys are going to get when you keep being consistent, right? Because people they do love the oils, and they're going to love how you present them, and then they're going to want to do it with you. So that's just something to look forward to. And then what are you afraid of, and what is the worst that can happen? And we can all think about it in our head, but like some of you might be afraid of success, right? I thought that was interesting. Some of them brought up. Are you afraid of success? And what's that going to do to maybe your relationship with your spouse? What if you become more financially successful than your spouse? Is that going to bring up something within you too? Maybe it will. Are you afraid of that, right? Are you afraid of having to take some time away from family to do something on your own? Are you not okay with that? Is there fear related that you're going to feel guilt over that, right? And that you're not maybe investing in your family for a future to come, right? Or what your friends think of you? Or are you just afraid that you're going to be a big flop and people are going to talk about you? Like, what are your fears? And then what's the worst can happen? And she says, identify your fears. Like Courtney said, embrace them, right? Whatever, it can be great. I'm going to focus on that. If not, I'll move on. And then move past them and go forward and do what you have planned, right? So, but we'll talk about a couple quotes later on. If you don't actually identify those fears and really take hold of them and move in towards them, you're going to find the same kind of fear come up in lots of different things. If you move past doTERRA and you try something else, that same fear that you're having right now is going to show up in there, right? If you haven't conquered it yet. So just remember, the longer you deal with this and can't move past your fears, it's going to show up in relationships. It's going to show up in work. It's going to come up in family life, whatever it is, relationships with friends. It shows up in a lot of ways because most of these fears aren't like one-sided just towards business. Normally, they're like encompassing a lot of areas in our life. Just with business, I feel like it's sort of like a light bulb shine bright on you, and it's like, all your fears are coming out, So sometimes they say, like, especially a direct sales business is the best personal development course you could ever take, right? It pulls out everything. You've got to look at yourself, everything that you're doing, and figure out your ish so that people actually want to do it with you, right? Because if you haven't figured out your ish, no one really wants to jump onto your party train and be on it with you if you have all of these issues you can't even deal with yourself. So let's embrace them, work on them, move past them, and then people can go on with us. So that was a little bit about what Jenna shared. And then I thought Tiffany Peterson's talk was great. And she said, the $1 million question is, am I willing to be uncomfortable to have the results that I want? I think that is something that you guys might want to frame and put on your wall somewhere. And I'm not joking, or on your screensaver on your phone, right? Am I willing to be uncomfortable to have the results that I want? I'm telling you, when I went from silver to diamond in 1 year, I wasn't comfortable a lot of times. It was not a peaceful, tranquil, blissful time in my life, right? Did I get what I wanted to achieve? Yes, I did. That was my goal, and that was my why, and I don't think I could have achieved it if I would have done all of those things and moved past discomfort. Now, I had a lot of great times, right? But did I have a lot of discomfort? I had tons. I was like literally flashed in my face millions of things that I had to work on myself, like personal development wise. And I don't know about you, but most of the times all my kids bring up so many things that I have to work on. That's enough for me. I don't really need like business partners telling me that, or you know what I mean? I already feel like I have so many things as a mom, or like my bakery feeling like I have so many, or my marriage telling me like, you're a failure, Melody. You can do all this, but you never do it enough. Like that's one of my biggest things is like, no matter what I do, I'm never good enough, right? And that's probably one of my biggest fears is like, which sort of is crippling if it lets you, because then it's like, why do I even try, right? But then I had to get rid of that because that's so untrue. If I didn't try anything, I wouldn't be blessing people's lives. I wouldn't be helping my family financially. I could literally give up and be like, you know what, if I'm just a stay-at-home mom, not saying that that's just, but, for my example, like if I stopped doing everything, then I would feel less like a failure. Well, maybe that would be true, but I think the passion side of me would die. I love connecting with you guys, right? I love connecting with people and helping them with essential oils. That's something that feeds my soul. And if I deny that aspect of myself, am I really like becoming the person I want to be? I don't think so. Now there's seasons of life to pour into certain things and areas, but it would have been really easy for me to say, like, let me give up, right? And let me not do this. This isn't the right time for me. And I'm not saying at certain times I don't say, like, I need to stop this right now and I need to focus on something else, right? Like my family or whatever, 100%. There are times like right after a baby or things like that, totally. But I could use that fear or that shame or that guilt to plague every day of my life. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys feel the same way? I see you're shaking your head, actually. Come on, chat with us.
I totally relate. I feel a lot of that exact same way, for sure. And I think for me, one of my main fears is I'm very fearful of success. And I think being in ministry and being a pastor's wife, that's a huge fear of mine, what people would think, how they would look at me. So it's a huge hang up. So I'm definitely trying to work through that.
Yeah, and I think that's so, I can see how it totally would be, but I think since I grew up in my family, since my dad made money and was able to help people, I saw the exact opposite, right? My parents financially have been able to help people more than anyone in ministry because they had financial stability and they were there tangibly meeting people's needs that a lot of other people could say, I could offer you prayer, but I can't help fix your problem, unfortunately. Right? And there's lots of great talents and gifts, and we all have them, and prayer is amazing. But God also gives us gifts and talents, I believe, to bless other people, and being financially stable is one too, I believe, right? I don't think finances is something taboo at all. I think they can be the biggest blessing. Some of the times that I've been able to, and I know I shared this before, but like I was able to last year, which meant so much to me, help put one of my friends in high school, she has a ministry in Africa, and she had her like sort of like adopted daughter. It wasn't really adopted, but this is someone she took under her wing. She wanted to go to nursing school, and she has AIDS, and she just felt like, and she got pregnant, and she just felt like her life was sort of over, and nursing school was that one thing that she had left, her passion that she wanted to do, but there's no way financially she could have done it. And my friend Haley, who's in ministry full time, right, could not make this dream happen for her, right? No matter what she wanted, right? And what was I able to do? I financially used money that I made from doTERRA and paid for her to go to nursing school for a year. I mean, if that's not touching people's lives, I don't know what is, right? So if you feel like you could bless people in your ministry financially and giving them, that would be such a great ministry, right? Like you could start whole ministries because you financially could grow them. And sometimes in churches, you can't because there's no funds to start the ministry. Right? And that's just a legitimate thing that happens. And so to really like put that fear aside and be like, no, like I know I would use my blessings financially to the best of my ability. And why should I have fear over this, you know? And I think you would be so amazing with touching so many people's lives financially if you could get past that and say like, no, like I just can't wait to bless other people's lives.
Right. It's a good point.
Anybody else?
My big one is control, I think. I think it's a personality fault, but I've never been one of those people that has been overly concerned with what other people think.
That's good. I like that.
You would think it would be good. It's not always good. Other than like my close friends and my family, for the most part, I could just give a flip. But what I struggle with is the fear of letting go of control of certain things. I really have a hard time with that. And, one of the things that I struggle with, especially with my son and his health issues, is delegating some of that care that I know is possible and, everyone else can do it just as well as I can, and I don't have to do everything. And so that's something I'm working on. But it's like I know if I'm successful, as I'm planning to be with doTERRA, that I'll have more of that time freedom, which I'm looking forward to. But I know that the time crunch from between now and that point is going to be hard to get everything done, and I have to let go of some things. I have to, So that's what I struggle with.
Yeah. And I think you already know what you have to do, right? Like you said it. And it's like, it's right there and the choices you're going to have to meet. And you're probably just like, this is going to be painful. You know what I mean? I feel like you're there and you're ready to do the work. It's just going to be, there's going to be some painful moments. And I've had those when I had my bakery and I had to let go of control of letting other people mess up some of my cakes. And I literally was like, you ruined that. Like, now this is my name over everything. Like, this is so, you know, and all of this kind of stuff. But it's like, okay, Melody, did you want to bake cakes the rest of your life, every single hour of your life, every single day, do every single delivery, whatever? No. So I let college age kids deliver my wedding cakes that cost thousands of dollars, people. Like, I had to like let go of my control to have my life back, right? But it was that thing, and sometimes things go wrong, and I literally had to be I cried about it a million times, don't get me wrong, but I literally had to be like, you know what? This is what happens sometimes, you know what I mean? But what did I gain from it? Exponentially more than if I would have just stayed in my safe zone.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. Okay, so she says, discomfort is a part of change. You actually are in progression and progressing in your business, in your life, when you have discomfort. If you guys are not feeling discomfort within doTERRA, I'm telling you, you're probably not growing your business, right? If you're not feeling challenged, a little down and out, some highs and lows. I mean, I've seen so many of those things. It's like the life of an entrepreneur. Wow, this is exciting. This is crappy. Why did I ever do this? Oh, wait, I like this part. I connected with someone. Oh my gosh, this is the worst idea ever. I hate it and whatever. Oh my goodness, maybe I'm making a little bit of income. Now I'm in debt. You know what I mean? It's like, and then finally like, oh, okay. And it's like that roller coaster, right? But that's called progression. And eventually it keeps going upwards. But there's that up and down, right? And to just sort of embrace it and be like, this is what it's supposed to feel like that right now. And that's okay, right? Because it's not going to be all blissful. And she said, fear, the acronym is false evidence appearing as if it's real. False evidence appearing as if it's real. So what in your life is false evidence, but you're thinking it's real? And when you think of fears, call out your fears and being like, no, actually that's false, right? And you're just appearing to be real. And how can I get over that? I thought that was a great thing to think of when you're thinking about your fears. And then she asked, you know, like we talked about, what are you afraid of? Fear of failure, rejection, success, what others will think of me, and how much of your current life is being controlled by that question. Now, if anything, you should be afraid that your whole life is being controlled by your fears. Rather than, is my whole life being controlled by my passion for connecting with people, for helping with them, with loving them, with sharing doTERRA, with, you know, whatever it is your passions are, let that control your life rather than letting your fear control your life, right? Because that is only going to bring negativeness into your life. And then she said, how are you currently dealing with fear, and what is your common default pattern? Fight or flight, right? Or do you numb it out? I think a lot of us numb it out, right? Oh, I didn't want to do the challenge this week. I'm too stressful, so I'm just going to go on Instagram, or I'm just going to go eat, or I'm just going to shop, or whatever it is, right? Like, what are those kind of things that we're like, we know we should do, but it's causing us some of that discomfort. So we're like, fight, but, you know, we're not even doing it, or you're going to engage in it and like go into your fear, right? Instead of numbing it out. She said, your emotions are just teachers. Friend your fear rather than fleeing from it. Friend it or face your fear. Otherwise, it will keep showing up. I thought that was really good advice, right? Like, I feel like a lot of things maybe I sort of like within my bakery business, I sort of like feared it and let it like push it under the rug. When I got into doTERRA, it like slapped me in the face. And I was like, crap, I thought I already dealt with all of that, but I really didn't, right? Like, I pushed it under the rug and I was able to forget about maybe those things about myself that I needed to change or confront for a while. And then in this other avenue that I went into, it was like, there it is again, a flashing red light, like, Melody, deal with it already. And then finally dealing with it. So maybe think about, do you have a pattern in your life, right? Was there an old job or a current job you're at, or in a relationship, and all of these kind of patterns keep popping up? Well, you really need to decide, is this the time where I'm finally going to deal with it? Or are you going to let another year of your life go on with you having the same fear that controls your whole life? And then, okay, let's see. And I thought she said this, I can live with failure, but not with regret. that was sort of something what I decided when I saw the business opportunity with doTERRA. I thought, I'm going to do it because if I fail, that's one thing. But I'm going to super regret if I don't do this right now because this is the opportunity that I could tell was being presented to me in multiple ways, and it was out there in front of my face. And if I didn't do it, I knew a year later, because I felt like at that time in my life, I was sort of on a hamster wheel. Like I even felt like sometimes when I was talking to my friends that they were sort of over the same conversation that I was saying over and over again of the things that I was over in my life. Right? Like I'm over feeling financially not stable. I'm over having the same issues. I'm over not having, control in this way. I'm over not, whatever it was that my same, recording over and over again. And it's almost like when my friends was like, well then get rid of your bakery or stop doing this or stop complaining. And you know what I mean? And I sort of had to be like, yeah, Melody, like stop complaining. If you have these frustrations out your life, go ahead and do something or shut up, right? Like, or you're going to stop doing it. Like either like embrace life. If doing a side business is not for you, then go and don't do a side business and be happy with where you're at. And that's where that Gary Vaynerchuk or whatever his name says, he's like, you know what? And he just says it straight. He's like, for the person that's at home and is not crushing it every day and getting home from their work and working till 12 o'clock on their side project or whatever, if they're happy and they never complain to me when I see them, they're living the great life and I'm happy for them. And he's like, that's not me, right? He's like, they're winning in life if they're actually happy. But if I ever hear someone complain about it, I'm like, shut up and start working then, right? And I think that's so true. It's like, if we have complaints about our life, instead of complaining, let's go ahead and do something about it, right? And that's sort of what finally fueled me after I felt like I had complained for maybe a year or two straight about my situation. And she had this quote, the amateur expects to overcome fear. The professional knows they will never overcome it. Meaning that fear is always going to be there, but how can you deal with it? And so she goes on to say, develop the skills to deal with fear. Whether it be spiritual, right? Maybe you need to read your Bible, do your devotional. Maybe you need to have your essential oils and use your peas in your roller bottle. Maybe you need to exercise daily. Maybe you need to have a you time, connect with a friend, counseling, all of those things. But you need to have the tools to deal with your fear. Otherwise, if you don't share that fear, a lot of times, like I feel if I keep it in my head and I don't speak it out loud to someone else, it's always within me, right? Whereas if I say it out loud, I feel a lot better about it, right? So let's share our fear with someone and then let's get over it and move forward with it. And progress over perfection, right? We're not going to be perfect. We all are going to have ups and downs, fears, things like that. But progression and feeling that like constant, I don't know if someone needs to mute that a little bit just because the recording is a little bit. So yeah, if we're not feeling like we're ever hitting up against something, then we have to ask ourselves, are we really moving and growing and challenging ourselves? And then Marie Forleo, her quote was, remember our rule of thumb. The more scared of a work or calling, the more sure you can be that we have to do it. The more fear we feel about a specific enterprise, the more certain we can be that that enterprise is important to us and the growth of our soul. I thought that was like hitting the nail on the head, right? Like live into that. If you guys are feeling like, I don't know, people think about me. I don't know if I'll be successful. I don't know. Really? I think that's like, do it. Get over it. Move past it. Like go and move into it. And I thought her dance example was a great one of her life, right? Like seriously, dancing is one of my fears. I do not like dancing in front of people, so I really felt with her on that. So like going into like a legit dance studio and like getting it on with all these professionals. And she's like, I cried in that moment because I finally felt alive. This is where I needed to be, right? And I feel like if you guys can go to convention or leadership or any of those doTERRA events, I feel like you're going to feel that same feeling. You're going to be in the room with so many like-minded people that have the same passions as you that you're so into, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And you're gonna be like, this was scary. I didn't have money for convention. I didn't have time to go to this. I might have missed this thing for my family or my work or whatever, but I'm doing it, right? And I feel so alive and I'm so excited. And so I love that. And then she said that that was like literally a catalyst for her whole life, right? She said it led into so many other things. And then when she came on to new things that probably would have crippled her with fear, instead she remembered that experience and kept moving forward. And I've seen that in my life a lot of times, right? When I finally conquer something, you know, even like stupid, the Kayla workouts, which I don't know if any of you have done them, but they're very hard, right? Like I think for 2 years I had wanted to start the program, right? 2 years. I think I was like gigantically fat with Donovan, right? And I bought the program or something. And I never did it for 2 years. Finally, when I did it, I was like, this is miserable. I absolutely hate it. But I did feel quite alive, right? And I was like, and I can do this. And, you know, and then I did it for like 4 months straight for every day. But I'm just saying, like, there is something so true about, like, and then just knowing, like, I did that workout. I can do it. And half the time, the whole workout, I have to talk myself through it. Don't give up. Don't give up. Okay, you're halfway through. You got halfway through. Okay, just do one more session, even though there's 4. Okay, you did the 3rd. You could do the 4th. You know, it's like talking myself through it. But then it's like, that's sort of what we have to do with doTERRA, right? Like, talk yourself through it. Okay, I wrote the post. Now can I post the post? Can I really do that live? Can I really say I want to host a class? Can I really teach the, you know, it's just like work, and you can do it. And I feel like when you do it, you know, like Allie said when she did that make and take class, she loved it, right? And you were so scared at first, right, Allie?
I was. But it wasn't that bad. After I, like, once I got there and started talking, it's amazing just like once you start, it doesn't seem as bad. It's just like all the scary thoughts before that you tell yourself that are really like, I feel like when I get scared and I feel fear, it's just like I'm projecting my feelings on everyone else. Yes. And that's not healthy. So once you start, it's just so much easier because you realize it's not as hard as you're making it out to be.
And I love that line. If she felt like projecting, right? Do not project that. Because I'm telling you, everyone feels that, right? Like, it's so true. And it's like you're self-sabotaging yourself, right? You make the perfect situation for yourself to share oils, and yet you can't even share them because you're projecting your own fears. And maybe this person really needs that essential oil kit for their family or themselves. And because you can't get over your ego or yourself or your anxiety, you're not able to help them. So just take the focus off yourself and put the focus on them, and it's so much easier, right? I know Ashley, she did a make and take, right, Ashley?
Right.
You got 2 signups from it.
Yeah, I was always wondering, like, what's the point of make and takes? I don't really get it. So I decided to try something I've never done, which I was very nervous about. And now I totally saw the benefits and how it really blessed so many people. I mean, my users were just thrilled with it, and they had so much fun. And then I got to help 2 new people. So it was definitely worth it. And now I'll definitely do more.
Awesome. Yeah, she's doing one with 40 women at her church.
That's going to be intense.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're coaching through like how to do that, right? But it's great. She, you know, would you ever think you could do this opportunity for 40 women if you wouldn't have started with the one in your house? Right?
No,
Like, if
not
you
at
wouldn't have
all.
started with one in your house, you would have missed out on the second opportunity. So it's like you have to start somewhere. Do a make and take with one person, your neighbor, right? Do a make and take with them. Get over your fear. Try your recipes on them. Bless that one person. Once you do it, try it on 2 people. Try it on 5 people. And then work up, right? And maybe you don't ever have to get to 40, but try it with one person, right? And bless that person and stop thinking about yourself and just how you can help them. And seriously, sometimes I have to tell myself that. It's like, okay, do I have time to come on chatting with you guys and look pretty and put together every night? No, I don't have that. So I'm going to get my workout in so my abs aren't super flabby for Kate's wedding. Thank you very much, Kate, coming up. She's, for wedding, stressing me out a little bit physically, but that's okay, people. So I'm getting my workout in. And no, I'm joking. I'm super excited. But I have to stand next to Kate, which if you haven't seen Kate's waist is like the size of an orange, I think. So I'm like, okay, I can do it. I can do it. So I'm having my mental fear battles for Kate's wedding. But yeah, so I'm starting small. I'm getting my workouts in. But totally, I feel like, Ashley, that's a great example of facing your fears, doing it, and seeing literally how your customers and people were so blessed, and all of those people would not have showed up for a class, you said, right? You said,
right.
Put out classes, no one was coming.
Right. Well, even like getting an email yesterday about, can I do a make and take with those 40 people? If I would have gotten that last week, I would have immediately wrote her and said, no, it's okay, or something, you know, that it wasn't going to work out. But after doing it, even though I had a lot less people, I thought, no, it is really good, and I can do it. So yeah,
Awesome.
definitely, it helps, even if it's a small amount of people. Like you said, just do it.
Totally. Awesome. Okay, and then she said, follow your fear. It is a GPS for where your soul wants to go. That was her quotable. I thought that was really good. Follow your fear. It's the GPS to where your soul wants to go. And then her question for you was, if you followed your fear, what specific job, life goal, or passion is it directing you towards right now? So that's something for, and if you're feeling for different things, but, you know, specifically for doTERRA, maybe there's something that you want to do with your business on doTERRA, but you have fear about. So what is that really directing you towards? And then maybe move towards that direction. And then, let's see. I'll go over Brene Brown because I don't have too much time to talk about that because I chatted a lot, but I liked her example at the beginning of that guy. She said he saw a need, right? I forget exactly what he made, but you know, everyone in the audience was cheering, and she's like, and this guy saw this way to help people, so he went and he designed this life-saving thing to help people, and then it didn't work, right? And everyone's like, oh, right? And then she's like, and then he made it 32 more times, and then it worked. And sometimes that's just how our business goes, right? Maybe you do a party, and it sucks. Go do 32 more parties until you do a great one. You know what I mean? Like, just keep doing it until you succeed at it. Just like this guy, you know, you can do like the light bulb or, you know, whatever, all those, flying an airplane. Nothing that had great importance and significance came easy to people. That's just the truth. So stop thinking that anything should come easy to you too, right? And then when you realize this shouldn't come easy, then you're able to enjoy the process a lot more, because it's when it's not easy, you'll be like, oh, that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. That wasn't that fun. But you know what? Melody said she had a lot of experiences where she wasn't fun. So I guess we're the same now, and you know, all is good. So just remember, it's not always going to be great. And that means you're just on the path towards getting better, right? And that's an awesome place to be. And then she talked about how, you know, her example of just dare greatly, get into the arena, which means you're actually doing it, right? Don't stand on the sidelines, right? Get into the arena, and don't let shame keep you out. If we can quiet down shame, we realize we're our own critic. So that voice of fear, of oppression, of whatever, that's critique, you're not good enough, you're not have a big enough Instagram, you don't have enough posts on your Instagram, you don't have a house that's pretty enough to do a class. I mean, there's so many we can come up with in our own lives, right? My husband couldn't watch my kids. Oh, I don't feel that good. Maybe I'll have something to do. Oh, you know, I mean, literally, we could come up with a million. Why don't we just shut them all up and go ahead and do it, right? And that's what sort of Tony Robbins' 2-minute clip was saying, and I loved all his sayings. I literally was like listening to his and rewinding and writing down, listening and rewinding, because I felt like every line he said was like a quotable. They were all so good. So he said, I don't negotiate with my mind. I run my life with my heart and soul. I don't let the brain run the show. And how many times, not even just in doTERRA, but I'm telling you, even with people that I connect with doTERRA that are users, how many people say, I have anxiety, I have depression, I have all of this. We all, like, I feel like, let our brains control our lives so much, right? When in reality, if we let our heart control things, it would be so much more beautiful and enjoyable, right? If we like got out of our head and focused on people and helping, and not what my goal, my rank was maybe, and just like, can I help this person, right? Maybe that will come off to them, right? That like, I'm having a great time. Like, you know, if you're not attracting people to do the business, think like, am I projecting that I'm actually enjoying the business, or that it's just a struggle and all of that, right? Because no one wants to join something that constantly seems like a struggle to people. So like, are you enjoying it yourself? And if not, take a look at maybe like, what are you doing that's not enjoyable, right? And change it up. If classes aren't fun, do a make and take and have a blast, and then people are going to have a blast too, right? Or if you don't like classes, do one-on-ones. Some people thrive on one-on-ones, right? Other people like a group of people. We're all different. So find what fuels your fire and makes your passion and makes you get out of your head, and just do that, and that will show across to everyone. And then he said, be more fearful of not taking action. to settle for a life that is far below what you deserve or desire. And I feel like that is so true, right? Be scared of that instead of scared of what will happen if I actually go and do this, right? Everyone gets fearful. He says, I can be fearful, but I do it anyway. And I'm telling you, that's like my motto that I've had to do like while growing the business. When meeting people, would go into people's homes and teaching classes that I don't even know and meet off of Instagram. Yeah, I might be a little weirded out. I don't even know who you are. All your friends, this is a little awkward. And now I have to teach you essential oils, not come off salesy. All these things that I could have going on in my head, right? Like, why do you even want to listen to me? Oh, no, I'm like, I know a lot about oils. They can really help you out. I'm going to share them with you today, right? And let's have fun. And you just do it. And I get out of that, and I don't let it control me anymore. But when I was first starting to do the business, or I didn't think of it as a business, but when I was first starting to share, fear always was in the back of my head, right? Every time I did a one-on-one or a make and take, I constantly, what do people think about me? I own a bakery. I'm doing this. Why do they think I'm doing this? Oh, it's always fear, and it made it so unenjoyable. That's why I finally quit and didn't even do a class for like a year and a half straight, right? Because I literally was letting all of that get to me, which is a real bummer, because if I would have done it a little bit during those times, maybe it would have been a little bit higher now. Okay, and then his rocking chair test. Look back on, if you were looking back on your life, what if you let your fears dominate you and you never did what you wanted to do? You don't have to feel good to do stuff. And I feel like we sort of like are grown up thinking that we have to feel good when we do stuff. Like, isn't that true when we teach our kids or whatever? Like, oh, like this will be fun. No, sometimes I'm telling Blake, I don't care if you're having a good time. Do it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, this is the right thing to do. Like, this is whatever. Like, this is, good and hard. And, and when she sees me exercising, crying, doing Kayla, and she's like, learns, like, this is hard. Like, but it's good still. No. But like, and he says, train your brain. He says, when I say do it, we do it. When you train yourself to do it anyway, you will have a freedom that most people will never have. When you train yourself to do it anyway, you will have a freedom that most people will never have. And they'll be like, wow, how do you not have fear? And how do you like try new things? And how are you doing multiple things? And how? Because I trained myself not to have fear, right? I thought that was a great quote. All right, and last but not least, I have a couple quotes from this book that I want to read, and then we'll end it for the night. And this quote is, if you say your job is something you don't plan on doing forever, then why are you doing it now? And I thought that was a good question. So if for any of you are in a spot in your life, right, that maybe you're not happy with where you're at, if you say your job is something you don't plan on doing forever, why are you doing it now? Because I'm guessing that in a year, 2 years, 5 years, you're still going to be stuck doing the same thing that you're doing. And it doesn't even have to be a job. Maybe if you're not happy with your life, however it is, right? Why is it going to change in the future magically? It's not going to be. It's going to be the same or worse, right? Unless you decide to get uncomfortable and change it. And then the next one he put was, there's only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing, right? We're all going to get it from different avenues in our life, whether it be, our family, our friends, our spouse, social media, you got to love it. Always someone's going to critique something, right? But that's just how life is. So we need to be like, I don't care, right? You can have that opinion. It does not affect me, right? And that's what I've had to believe in for sure. And then the last one is, most of us live our lives by accident. We live as if it happens. Fulfillment comes when we live our lives on purpose. So let's all go into this next week, not living on accident and let the week happen to us. Let's live it on purpose, right? So let's say, okay, my challenge was to do something and to go on our Obsessed with Essentials and give back to the community. How about right now tonight, you all go back and pick what date you're doing it on and post it to the group before the end of the night and say, on this day, I will go on and talk about this topic. And we all will have some accountability, which is awesome. We're all planning for success, right? Did it freeze on me? Or you guys can hear me? Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, it froze on my behalf. So let's plan, right? And then what was the other one we said? And then the brand rep. Let's plan on the day or the person we're going to connect with. I know it's 9 o'clock, so if it's way past or poor coordinating, it's way later for you. But maybe if it's not today, tell yourself tomorrow I will find someone that I'm going to connect with this. And then don't live all week in anxiety like, what if I don't find someone? I know she's going to ask next week. This is stressful. No, just go ahead and do it. Find someone. Go tell them that you're going to make them a roller bottle. If they have 200 followers, sweet. Go give it to the person with 200 followers. If they have 20, awesome. Go give it to the person with 20. Just pick someone, go bless them, connect with them, and just get over the fear of doing it, right? It doesn't have to be a perfect situation. Do it once. Maybe that will lead to a lot of other things to make you have a great next month or next week or whatever it is. But if you keep telling yourself, I can't do it for this reason, you're letting fear win over that, right? So let's do both of those. And then I actually am way on top of it. I'm glad. And I already did this next week's on Belief, so it's already up. So anyone can go on there and do that now. Next week is going to be our last week. So if you are trying to go for getting that cash reward, there is going to be the first, second, and third place prize. Anything can happen. So go on, add your points. I think most of you posted your trackers and sent your homework already, so that's awesome. I'll try to update the points again. But yeah, it was so great connecting with you guys tonight. Hopefully you got some little tidbits on fear. Thank you for all sharing. I love learning from you guys as well. So we'll connect back next week. Anybody have anything they want to say before we jump off?
I just have a question, but this could be like after people sign off. Just, you showed that video of like that black and white picture post. Is that an app that you use to make for like the user group?
Yeah, the one with the lady was inhaling. Is that what you're saying? Which one?
No, where like for like research articles and stuff like that you put like a post and you said like you created an album for the user group.
Yeah.
Like,
say that again. So what was your question about it?
So did you use an app to make that photo?
Yeah.
I referenced something and
Yes, so that was the same app as Over, which I posted on the growth group, how to do photos.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
instead of adding a photo to it, you can pick a shape, right?
Okay.
So I pick a shape, just a square. I
Yeah.
put white for it, and then I expand it to where it does all white on the background. Or if you want to do a different color.
Sure.
And then I just add text, and then I just make the text. So in a sense, I'm creating a photo that's, with just words on it.
Okay. But Over is an app. Is that
Over is the app.
okay?
And
Cool.
I did do, if you go and search on the growth group, when I was showing how Jenna shared, like how to use that one app, what is it, the one?
Planolly or the VSC.
Yeah, VSCO.
Yeah.
Then I use the app. Did I show Over or did I just show Pick Tap Go?
You didn't show Over, but you mentioned it in that, so that's why I was just.
Oh,
curious
okay.
if
I'll
that
do
was
it
an
right
app.
now. I'll do it in the postage.
Okay, because I pinned actually, or I made a list of a ton of articles, but I've just been meaning to ask you.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I'll show you how I use Over. It's been really helpful for me because
Okay.
especially for the same look of post. So for like logo, or say if you were doing a themed post where you want it to all look the same, right? With the same header, just change out the words.
Sure.
It's nice because you can add a photo to your already designed like looking thing.
Oh,
And
that's
just
nice.
make it go, I don't know. It's a little, but I'll do that because it's a little confusing. So I'll post that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thanks.
Anybody else?
I have a question. Were there points associated with going live, or was that just part of our homework?
Oh, yeah. So going live to, I think that was last week's homework.
For Instagram? Okay.
Was that last week's homework or am I getting
Yeah.
confused?
Yeah, was that last week?
Last week.
Okay. So yeah, no, that one was just an assignment. The only reason I'm giving extra points for this week is because no one did it, but only 2 did.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to double check because I was late, so I didn't know if you guys talked about it earlier.
Yeah. No, everyone I think was supposed to do that, and I think most people did do the live one. But yeah, so this week was just a bonus one for you.
Cool.
All right. Any other questions?
I missed that. What was bonus for this week?
So Cheryl did a brand rep search because that was one of the things we challenged everyone to do last week, but she was the only one that did that. And then Allie did, what did you do, Allie? No, not Allie. Who did the? Oh yeah, sorry. My mom brain is so. And then Shannon went on Facebook and did the live about how to give back, and she talked about pets. So since they were the only two that did one of those, the brand rep and then going on Obsessed with Essentials and doing a live thing about anything, right? So this week your challenge is go on Facebook, our Obsessed with Essentials group, and give back to the community, right? So find something for our community that you can share with to help our community grow, because that was the theme of last week was community, right? So go on, give something back to the community, and then go and find a brand rep for, if you're doing Facebook, it could be a Facebook brand rep or an Instagram. So those would be the two things that are sort of like carryover challenges for this next week since everyone didn't get to do it.
I did the brand rep. I just haven't heard. She hasn't got, I think she probably just got her roller that I sent her today.
Oh, okay. Well, then if you did.
So I haven't heard, she hasn't, she said, well, let me get it and then we'll talk. But
okay.
So we don't have the result yet.
Okay. Well then, so then 3 of you guys did the brand rep. So then let's do, this is getting confusing. I don't feel bad. So I said 50 points for, let's do, okay, so only one person went Facebook Live. So we're going to give Shannon still 50 because she was the only person. No one else did Facebook Live on our Obsessed with Essentials, right? No.
We're supposed to do, when we get back to our community, you mean we're supposed to go live on the Obsessed with the Essentials?
Yeah, I thought it was just to think of a way to give back, like figure out, what your contribution is.
Yeah. So
yeah, that we could choose.
Yes, you could choose. So like if you did something for it. But did anyone else do anything for the group this last week? I know maybe Lauren, you're saying you did a lot, but you didn't know how to use Over app.
Right, but that's okay. I'm not like worried about it.
Did you guys want me to just not do extra points for that this week then?
No, they should. Yeah, no, that's fine.
It's fine to clarify.
I don't know.
So funny.
I always do this when I do stuff at the bakery like this, and then I get in trouble for doing extra things. So I'm like, whoops, maybe I shouldn't.
I have one question about the Facebook Live. When you go into the group and you do it, does it have to post to your profile or does it just stay in the closed group?
It stays in the closed group. You're just going to post on the group about it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't, like I said, sorry, I keep saying Facebook Live. It doesn't have to. If you're, like Lauren's passion is doing the medical articles, so that's her passion. So that's fine too. We're just trying to find something to give back to the group on, right? That's like a significant thing. Okay. So I was probably really confusing there. I feel like these ones are so late in the night by the end of the day. Like I worked at the bakery all the day today and did like so many issues with employees and talking to them by the end of the night. I'm like, what was that again that I was supposed to say? So I apologize if I'm a little bit loopy on what the projects are, but okay. Is that clear for next week then? Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. All right, then. Last week is our next week. I'm sort of sad that we're not going to be meeting, but I am going to try to do some sort of overall Obsessed with Essentials business builder thing, probably on an every other week basis. That's like a live thing like this. So it could be that we're still staying really connected because I really like this. So,
yeah.
And then we can, whatever. It's all for you guys. So if you guys want to do like another kind of thing where it doesn't have to be like this exact kind of growth group, but if there's like another thing that you guys have ideas for that you want, like in a sense, done by me, always let me know. By the end, I really want like great feedback because again, I'm going to run this same one again, but tweak it. So any kind of suggestions are welcome. If you guys, thought certain things could be better, like maybe Melody should really write out what the homework is and post it to growth group. We're all confused. Like that could be a suggestion maybe. All right. Well, night, ladies. Hope you guys have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Night.
Night.
Bye.
Night.